Hey y'all, I'm Elisa and I am the Scrappy Wife behind scrappywife.com, and today I have a Bible journaling process video for you. I am working in Greener Grass, the devotional from By the Well for God, and I am on day 11 talking about the motives behind why we serve God, why we love God, and I am in the book of Job, and I am specifically focusing on Job 13:15. Though he slay me, I will hope in him. And I will be 100% honest, with everything that is going on in the world, I have found it really overwhelming and really draining, and creativity has been difficult for me. So I'm still turning to the Bible because I know that is where I will find hope in prayer and in study. And I'm just going to turn on the video. I don't really know what I'm going to do for this entry, but we're just going to see what happens. And if you're seeing this video, that means it turned out well. And we'll just see what happens. I'll make sure to link everything at the bottom, and let's go. Okay, so one of my strategies when I am not feeling very creative is to go back to some tried and true techniques, which is what I decided to do to start off this Bible journal entry. I am just taking a real cheap blush brush. This is like from the Dollar Tree, something super cheap and simple. And I'm using the Distress Oxide and the Picked Raspberry and just laying down a little bit of color across most of the page. So I'm really focusing kind of on the middle because I know I want to do a different color on the edges of the page. And I'm just starting, like I said, something simple, something easy. Sometimes it's just about starting to get color on the page to really get your creative juices flowing. So just mixing it in really lightly. I'm trying to be real light-handed so I don't get a lot of the brush strokes in there. I just want it to be a real light pink background as the setting. And what I'm going to do is some tone on tone with the Distress Oxide ink. So I pull out one of the dome blending brushes from scrapbook.com, sorry, and I will blend using this stencil. I think this is a Hero Art stencil. I'll look for it. It's plaid. I see it's there in the corner, so I'll look for it and try to link it below. And it was reminding me of cherry trees, which are blooming here in Washington, DC and Virginia, and I have a beautiful one right outside my window that I'm loving looking at, and they really bloom big for like a week. And of course, it's the week that we are trapped inside. So I'm just enjoying the view from my window, and it's just another reminder of God's blessings. You know, even though we're in this situation where we're isolated, it feels like we're isolated, there are a lot of blessings to look for. And for me, one of them is getting to see this beautiful tree right outside my window. So some tone on tone to get this page started. And then I decide that I want to come around the edges, and I'm going to use a different color on the edge just to provide a little bit of contrast. So this is the Peacock Feathers, and you can see I have my Bible mat behind the page so that I can really start on the mat and then gently work onto the page. I'm trying to get a really soft blend. They're very different colors, so of course it's kind of a high contrast, and you can see when I started, I got a little bit of ink on the page next to it, and that's okay. Stuff like that happens, especially in your typical Bible journals where they have smaller pages and it's not the spiral bound, so you're kind of working there. I decide I'm just going to go ahead and actually frame out this page. So the turquoise, the peacock feather, is really looking like a border around the whole page, which I like. And then this is one of my old favorite techniques that I used in my very first Bible journal a lot, and that was putting washi in the gutter of the page, which I used to like for filling up that space that was hard to get to. And so I found some washi in my stash that went well with the colors that I was working with on the page and put it right there in the gutter. So my next step is to make a little cluster down here at the bottom with some of the die cut pieces that came in the kit. The flowers, again, kind of remind me of the cherry blossoms, which I was thinking about and looking at and reflecting on. And I just love the sweet dog in the planter box with the flowers. I think it is so sweet and cute. So I got my pieces picked out, but I want to add a little bit to them to make them stand out from the rest of the page, because you can see it's kind of busy with all that stenciling in the background. So I'm inking up the edges of the floral pieces with this Victorian Velvet, which is one of my go-to Distress Oxide colors. I love it. I feel like it takes on different tones depending on what you combine with it, which is awesome. And then for my dog die cut piece right here, I'm going to choose a different one. I have the black soot, and just adding a little bit of black to the edges makes it look a little bit worn. I considered, should I fussy cut this out even closer, and didn't really want to do that, but I think putting the ink around the edges helps sets it off. The other thing I decided to do is, this is the Textures of Faith stamp set that's available over at By the Well for God. It is a great versatile set, and I know that I will use it tons in my art journaling and in my Bible journaling. And I'm using one of the textures here, and you can see I moved where my die cuts, I moved them off the page, and I'm adding just a few little spots to kind of anchor those die cuts. And you'll see when I put them back in just a moment, now they really do pop off because that black is there behind them, and it adds just a little bit more interest, which I really liked on the page. So I'm trying to decide, do I want to add more? I'm going to wait for just a little bit and just adhere my pieces down where I know I want them to go, and then consider what else I want to do for the rest of this page. So like I mentioned before, I am in the book of Job, and I am in Job 13:15, and it says, "Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him." And I was really thinking about the times that even when things are difficult, even when it seems like maybe it feels like God isn't listening, it feels like he's distant, I will still choose to put my hope in him, because I know down in my heart that he is a good father. He's a good God, and God is good all of the time. And so that's kind of an indestructible joy that I think Christians carry with them. And I really liked the phrase indestructible joy that was brought out in the devotional. And so I decided that's what I want my title to be. I grabbed the brush stroke alphas, which I am loving because they totally fit me as a stamper, because they're meant to be a little bit imperfect, which I think is awesome. So I stamp out the word joy, and then I'll use these tiny alphas, which I love. I have a little set of tweezers that one of my awesome subscribers sent to me, and they work fantastic for putting these down. And I will use all my tile alphas here to write out the word indestructible. And right now I'm just thinking and reflecting on all of the times that God has really shown up, and he's shown up not because of things I've done, not because he owes me, but just out of his love. So it's not, if you're experiencing a time of trial, it's not necessarily as punishment. It's not because you didn't do the right things. Sometimes it might be, but not always. It's just, you have to just keep holding on to the joy that is in God. And I typed out this quote that was in the devotional from John Piper, and it says, "The mirror he has chosen for the reflection of his worth is the indestructible joy of his people." So God wants us to be joyful. He wants us to hold on to that joy no matter what, and it serves as a mirror for his worth. And the more we hold on to that joy and shout it from the mountaintops, the more we glorify him, which is something that we kind of live our lives to do. So I'm adding a little bit more texture up here because that's where my quotation is going to be nestled. And I kind of play with, do I want it tilted? Do I want it straight? I decided to just keep it straight and add a little adhesive on the back. Oh, one more time. Nope. Oh, there it is. Final decision, because now it's adhered down. Putting it down, you can see it really coordinates well because those crosses kind of cascade around the whole left side of the page. Then it really fits in nicely. Now I am grabbing the clear stickers that came as part of the kit, and I'm just nestling a few of those flowers in throughout the layout here, and I like the dimension they add. This page was an excellent example of, I started out not feeling super creative, not feeling like I wanted to create a layout. I wanted to Bible journal. I wanted to spend time in the Word, but I wasn't feeling creative. But at this point, I was in it, and I kind of didn't want to stop. I was just loving everything and really into this worship experience that I have when I Bible journal, and it was a great relief to be back into the Word. So I have the word contentment from one of the other Bible stamp sets that came with this kit, and I will stamp it right over here to the left because that is really the definition of contentment. No matter what is thrown at me, I will hope in him. So adding that word, going to add a little bit of an arrow in there, and then I will be calling this page done. I hope during this really unique season we're all in with all of this added stress that you are finding time to get into the Word, to get a little bit of creativity in your life, and that it is bringing you some indestructible joy. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as that bell notification button. I also have a link down below to join my email list that I send out every couple weeks with some organization tips and crafty hacks, so check that out. I hope you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.